Thalassophobia is described as the intense and persistent fear of deep bodies of water, like lakes, or most commonly, the ocean. It's a very common and understandable fear. Humans have only explored 5% of the Earth's ocean, and over 70% of the Earth is ocean. It's a pretty daunting thing, the unknown. And even the stuff we do know is already scary and concerning as hell. And the ocean goes deep, and I mean deep. Like the Titanic wreckage is less than half the depth of the entire ocean. After about 1,000 feet, light from the surface can no longer pass through, so the rest of the ocean is shrouded in total darkness. Here's a weird segue. I've been playing video games for the majority of my life, and I also loathe games or chapters that take place underwater. It doesn't help that I grew up playing Sonic, where this nightmare theme would play if you stayed underwater too long. Even when they added swimming to Animal Crossing, something about being in the ocean, even in that game, made me kind of uneasy. So how is underwater exploration really handled in games? Well, for starters, two of the biggest things to look at, for me at least, is when I get in this water, will my character's health meter drain, or can they hold their breath indefinitely, with either one leading to two significant issues for my anxiety. If my character has a limited time underwater, it creates panic in my head. This means whatever the game expects me to accomplish down there is now timed, or they can hold their breath indefinitely, which tells me that underwater exploration may be a big part of the game, which also worries me, because I'd rather not be down here if I can help it. Horizon Zero Dawn and Horizon Forbidden West, for example, tackled underwater exploration, and although very minimal in the first game, they doubled down in the sequel. And in the Zero Dawn world, I always felt like some robotic sea creature will pull me down the longer I stayed in the water. And what about Mario? I do believe every mainline Mario game has had their infamous underwater levels. Some games, mainly side-scrollers, have Mario holding his breath indefinitely, but more 3D games like Mario 64 and Super Mario Galaxy have an air meter. Again, another series that possesses the two qualities I loathe most about being underwater in games. But why do I bring any of this up? Why is underwater exploration suddenly a big deal to me? Well, if the title of the video didn't give it away, it's because of a game I've been playing. It's called ABZÜ. But what is ABZÜ? To know ABZÜ, we must first know the team behind it. Giant Squid is one of those studios with a tight team of dedicated devs pouring their heart into every project they've worked on. The studio's first game was actually ABZÜ, and this direction was decided by the creative lead and co-founder of Giant Squid, Matt Nava, whose previous video game making experience come from a game called Journey, which has its own critical acclaim, garnering over 30 Game of the Year awards and praise for its unique art direction. But now that he's with Giant Squid, Matt's hope is to create an artistic atmosphere with a collaborative group of people to make deeply immersive and innovative experiences. And that vision all started with ABZÜ. Released on August 2nd, 2016, on all available platforms at the time, ABZÜ was immediately well received both critically and especially from players. I mean, listen to some of these reviews. ABZÜ is by far one of the most beautiful gaming experiences one can have. The gorgeous scenery complements the soundtrack very well, leaving most players in awe. The design is simple yet beautiful, and encourages players to explore and enjoy the world that's been created. The game seems to have primarily been designed to allow players to relax and have fun instead of being constantly agitated by surviving or winning, as in other games. One word to describe ABZÜ: beautiful. ABZÜ is a very nice game. In a way, it helps me achieve zen. The ambience is nice. I felt very nice and calm after playing this game. It is also good for people who like diving, or that want to, and to see a calm side of the world. It makes you realize how beautiful the ocean is, and how we should take care of it. Everyone should play it. This game is amazing, and good for the soul. I can't lie, it made me ugly cry. It gets better and better as it goes, and has a wonderful meaning. It's also one of the most beautiful games I've ever played. Proves you don't need ultra hardcore realistic AAA style graphics. Buy this game and feed your soul. And one of my personal favorites I saw. One of the best gaming experiences I've ever had. A must play. And get this, it's not just the honest opinions of strangers that sung this game's praises, but so did I. I actually played ABZÜ on the channel a long time ago. What is up, people of the internet? It is your boy Spoke to the Plug here, back with another video, and today we're playing ABZÜ. Now, on YouTube, I'm subscribed to the PlayStation. It's a channel called PlayStation where they, reveal maybe some trailers for upcoming PlayStation exclusive games. Well, this was the PlayStation Plus. One of the games free if you have PlayStation Plus. It's called ABZÜ. It says it's good if you have any stress, which I know everybody has some type of stress in their life. I've been waiting to play this game since last month because they reviewed it 2 weeks earlier. So it's finally out. I'm going to play it for you guys. If you guys really enjoy it, I'll play it again. I'm not sure if it has any real story to it, but we're still going to try to get this and we're going to have fun with it. So I guess without further ado, we're going to jump right into it. Okay, geez, that's enough of that. That's enough to make me want to scrap this entire part of the video. But even when I was younger, I was essentially verbalizing everything everyone had already said about it. It's peaceful. It's calming. It's beautiful. How did the team at Giant Squid accomplish this? How is it that Matt Nava's vision of ABZÜ resonates with so many people? Well, if it helps, that Matt himself is a diver. But he also understands that as unfamiliar and foreign as the ocean is, we all feel an innate subconscious connection to it. Also, ABZÜ derives its name from an old mythologies. Ab, meaning ocean, and Zu, meaning to know. So ABZÜ is the ocean of wisdom. I've had the idea to revisit this game for quite some time now, and this is exactly the reason I've needed. My name is Spoke to the Plug, and this is how ABZÜ plays on your fears. The moment the game starts, you're already in the water. You've been thrown to the sharks, no pun intended, the moment you press new game. The game doesn't have a HUD or even a UI, and they never explicitly tell you what to do, so you are quite literally, again, no pun intended, thrown in the deep end. Looks like we're up Schitt's Creek now. Got ourselves in a fishy situation. You're probably all like, oh my god, please stop. This wasn't originally planned, but after the two unintentional puns, I had to really drive it home. Anyway, where was I? Oh yeah, back to ABZÜ. I feel like I must address the diver, who I think it's never referred to by name, but Matt himself has referred to the diver as a female. Well, I've never even looked at the diver as a human, considering the things she goes through later on. The controls of the game are simple. Move with the left stick, look around with the right stick, swim with the right trigger, and swim faster with X. I'm on PlayStation, by the way. You also have the ability to perform tricks that, again, the game doesn't explicitly tell you. While swimming, you can perform a roll followed by a boost button, which then allows you to go even faster. The first area you're in is the highest level, just below the surface. The sun's out, and all of the fish are colorful and going about their day. The game leads you into another section filled to the brim with illustrious sea foliage and even more species of fish. We also find 3 robot friends similar to what B12 was to the cat and Shrey, who act as our companion, assisting us in interacting with the environment and accessing new areas. It's in the game's first area where we are also introduced to another one of the game's features, meditation. In every section of the game, there's a statue where the player can meditate on, and just look at fish and enjoy the scenery, wherever you are, and even have the option to pick and choose where you want to meditate post-game. There's no timer, no minigame. You can just sit here for hours and take in all of ABZÜ's beauty. As far as the narrative goes, no words are explicitly said, so I'm going to do my best to balance what's being shown and what I think it means. Having beaten this game 3 times or so now for a combined total of 6 hours, it has some rather interesting creative decisions. For starters, once we leave the first area, we enter a dark area with the glowing well in the center. Once entering the well, we essentially save that part of the ocean. Once absorbing a glowing water orb of the dark area is transformed into a brighter area teeming with sea life. Every one of these areas also has a main creature that stands out in a particular area. For the first one, it was a manta ray. Also, something the game doesn't say is while holding the left trigger near larger creatures, you can ride them. Well, riding is a stretch. You more cling on to the side of them while you control the animal, but for simplicity, I'll say ride. Once leaving this area, one of our little robot buddies gets destroyed by a great white shark. Immediately, I hate this shark. This shark is irredeemable to me. Also, a shark is a good choice, considering over 50% of Americans specifically have an innate fear of sharks without ever possibly going to come into contact with one in their lifetime. Our diver just did, and she didn't so much as a flinch. Meanwhile, I almost threw my controller at the screen. But just past the shark is an eerie-looking gateway in the shape of a triangle that gives you access because of your little robot, which just grants you access further into the ocean. After that, you encounter your first, well, I like to call them slipstreams. You get caught in the current swimming so fast, gathering families of fish to join you, and that gets you to the next area of the game. Once in the next area, we find another little robot buddy to assist us in the next part of the game. This is essentially the loop of the first couple of chapters. You'll be put in an area to solve fairly simple puzzles and free ocean life by interacting with these small little whales and jump back into another slipstream. The game takes a left turn when after we feel so comfortable swimming with all these colorful vibrant fish, you almost forget you're going deeper into the ocean. There's a really beautiful part where you swim alongside a bunch of whales, and it really puts things in perspective how small you are. Once you're done whaling around, you find yourself deeper into the ocean, only this time, you face a new threat. These strange triangular prisms that act as underwater floating mines. This first part of them is pretty easy to avoid, but that didn't stop me from setting a couple off. They don't kill you though, but they do render you immobile for a short while and take off pieces of the diver's body. But once we get past this section, we run into our pal the shark again. He's trapped under some rubble, and we free him, while still making our way down deeper into the ocean. Coolest part about this part for me, aside from the alien-like variety of sea creatures at the depths, is I actually got to ride a giant squid. You even get a trophy if you do it. After unveiling a new section and setting free more ocean life, we travel deeper into the ocean and encounter a large underwater pyramids, which looks like a larger version of the floating mines we saw from the previous section. Upon entering the pyramid, we encounter probably the most unnerving part of this game, a room full of these ominous floating mines. The ABZû wiki calls them harvesters, devices that immobilize the player, absorb the ocean's energy, and destroy sea life. This isn't just 2 or 3 in this section. This indicates something darker, more sinister going on in this world of ABZû. But before we figure that out, we have to get through these harvesters. I've played ABZû at least 5 times, and I'm pretty sure it's impossible to get through this area without setting a couple off. Once getting through that nightmare, I and my friend the great white shark try attacking what appears to be the harvester's source of power, but to no avail. In fact, it severely damages the diver, leaving parts of her body damaged, and even kills the shark. Pushing through, I encountered a set of stairs. Yes, stairs. How am I supposed to use stairs? Simple. The game now wants you out of the water. After spending the past hour and a half or so getting perfectly acclimated with being underwater, the game now wants you on land, which makes you feel uneasy. How did the game manage to achieve this level of subversion? Usually it's the opposite. I dread when games insist it's time to go underwater, and now I miss it. We, the diver, just went through a severely traumatic event losing our friend the shark and barely surviving that harvester hellhole, and now ran in unfamiliar territory. Solid ground. You're slower when you're not in the water. You can't perform any tricks, and you can't ride any creatures. Thankfully, it doesn't last long, as aside from an uneasy subversion, it has more traversal options, and the views from up here aren't too bad either. Not better than the luscious sea life, but I digress. We're back in the water before we know it. Not soon enough, though. After solving a few puzzles, we make our way back to this, let's say, space in the heart of the ocean, as this area acts as a gateway between sections after freeing parts of the ocean and its life. Only instead, this gateway now offers an orb that when we interact with, brings our shark friend back to life and restores our body with a glowing golden aura. With this newfound glowing aura, and our shark companion back at our side, the ocean seems bigger and brighter than ever. We're flanked by a school of fish as we weave through sections of the ocean, destroying those life-sucking harvesters by just ramming through them. Also, the score during this section is absolutely incredible. Even after multiple playthroughs, I even still managed to get a trophy that I didn't know exists during this section. As we make our way back to that big death triangle inhabiting all those harvesters, the same one that killed our shark friend and nearly killed us doesn't stand a chance this time around. We ram through and destroy every harvester on our way until we get to the center where me and the shark destroy the harvester's core. And as vegetation slowly begins to take over, what once was used to siphon energy from the ocean becomes a place where it's restored. And then the credits roll. That's that. We did it. We restored the ocean to its former glory. What was this game trying to say? What's the story behind all the ancient glyphs? How did the harvesters come to infest the ocean in the first place? These sound more like video ideas, honestly. But whatever theory you may have is neither right or wrong. You could say there's parallels to cleaning the ocean of pollution, or how it may be depicted in the glyphs we see with ABZÜ being stripped of its energy to make something new before something goes horribly wrong. Whatever the case, ABZÜ does a phenomenal job at tapping into your innate connection with the ocean. I enjoyed meditating and following schools of fish. I enjoyed leaping out of the water with the whales. I enjoyed traveling deeper into the ocean, despite my initial fear and skepticism. For a game that has no combat, no HUD, and no dialogue, ABZÜ says a lot. You should try it. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the end of this video. I am so glad to be back in the swing of things. This was one of my most fun videos to make. As you guys could tell by the earlier footage, ABZÜ is one of my favorite indie games. I don't talk about a lot of indie games on this channel for whatever reason, but maybe I should start, if you guys want me to. I mean, not that there's anything wrong with it, but I don't just always play AAA games. I just prefer to talk about them more because I feel like there's a lot more there. But there's some cool indie darlings out there. I mentioned it earlier. I've played Journey. I've played Limbo, Inside, all these great games that, take no time to play at all. And just these really artsy games like Rhyme and all this thing. And ABZÜ kind of kickstarted that when I was younger. I had no idea that an indie game could be something like this, and if the reviews in this video have anything to say, you probably clicked on this video because you subscribed, or maybe you've seen it, or maybe you've heard about it, but it is definitely a must play. And if you already played it, you should probably go play it again, because I'll probably replay it again in the next couple of months or so, because it's just one of those games that I enjoy revisiting to feel calm, feel at peace. It's kind of the different way to decompress. I feel like a lot of people, especially us gamers, sometimes we feel certain things. We'll probably get on a game like a Call of Duty or a Grand Theft Auto and shoot a bunch of people to kind of release that whatever we're feeling. But this is kind of a better way, just to meditate and look at fish, maybe even learn something along the way. I had a lot of fun going through the ABZÜ wiki and the ABZÜ Reddit and hearing people talk about the game and basically saying the general consensus is that this game is that game. It's very calming and peaceful, and I enjoyed doing this video about it, and I really hope you guys did too. Let me know what you guys think of ABZÜ and this video as a whole down in the comments below. Let me know what you guys think of the game, if you've played it or once you play it, and like, comment, subscribe, and I'll talk to you guys in my next one. Oh, also, according to YouTube, this is like my 600th video, so thank you guys so much for allowing me to do this and for coming back for some reason to listen to me talk about games. It really is kind of amazing, so I want to thank you all for that, and thank you so much for watching. Until my next video, I will see you all in the next one. Peace.